Okay, there we go. All right. So, my name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as the daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I'm multitasking. Let me pull up um, my IG really quick and we'll get started. So, this book, baby, this book. Greetings, facts don't care about your feelings. Girl, you had me cracking up on this call yesterday, okay? Cracking up. She say Mary came in here to snack wigs and pull hairlines. Okay. All right. So yeah. So it's I got some updates. I got some updates for you. So I told y'all last week, a week ago, yesterday. Girl, you a trip, she say. She did. I hope she take it easy on us tonight. I find it highly unlikely, honey. I find it highly unlikely. So anyway, yeah, today was an interesting day, baby. Today was an interesting day. I did a couple of readings today. I had a patient today here at my place. So it was a good day. It was a good day. I mean, it's still the day of days. It's not dark here yet. It's almost dark. It's not dark here yet. But today was a good day. The readings that I did today were interesting. They were good reads, and Spirit got some shit to say, baby. God has got an attitude. God has got an attitude, and she wants us to know about it. And the readings I did today, she really came through, showing her whole ass. You feel me? Before I do that, I promised yesterday that and I still don't have the list complete, but I promised I was going to do a shout out for people this week who have made donations to the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I'm going to start doing this as often as possible because I'm really, really grateful, and I want you all to really receive how grateful I am, because this work is just so invaluable. It's so important, and I'm just reminded of how important this work is and this trek that we're on together. And so I want to shout out the people who made donations either this week or last week. I'm still going through all my apps. So if I haven't called your name, but you made a donation, just know I'm getting to you. I'm just going back through the apps. So I got this week and last week donations from Annie Mae. Carl, I'm not going to call everybody's last name. Annie, Carlotta, you know who you are. Danielle, and Kinge, Manami, John Lean, Lily, Brianna, Lauren, Tyra, and Patricia. Greetings, T. How you doing? Those are just a few of the names of people that have made donations over the last week or two to the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I want to shout you out, and again, thank you so much for supporting the temple. Like I said, if I didn't call your name and you made a contribution, tomorrow when I come back on the reading, I'll have the rest of the list written out. This was just from 2 apps. I still have 2 more apps to dig through, so I can write everybody's name down and shout them out for their donations. So let's just go ahead and get into this book. If you would like to make a donation, if you would like to book a reading, or if you would like to book a wellness consult. Oh, you know what else I'm gonna do? I got an email that was kind of interesting. First of all, I've sent several of you like a little email telling you to be sure it's got all my my social media handles on it. Make sure that you do reviews. If I've done readings for you, wellness consults for you, please make sure, because I want to start doing this regularly. I really do. I'm multitasking like hell, but I really need this to work. I need this to work because for reasons. But anyway, so I really would. My goal is to. I've been doing now readings this way, live and Zoom call readings instead of just here in my place for 3 weeks now. And it's been going really well, and I would like it to be that way and remain that way. So my goal is to do a minimum of 5 30-minute readings a day. 5 30-minute readings a day, or 3 1-hour readings a day. If I can do that, I will be ahead of the game. So when I do a reading for you, if you are truly fed by the reading, if I do a consult for you, if it's beneficial to you, I just ask you to shout me out. Do reviews, shout me out on your social media. Be sure to tag me in my handles and post my handles so you can start what's the word I'm looking for? Directing people to my page and so on. If you're interested in getting a reading, just email me at releaseheartcenter. I'm in the process right now of switching over. It's a long and tedious process, you guys. It sucks. But I hate bureaucratic shit, so everything sucks to me. But anyway, I'm in the process of switching over all of like the PayPal, Venmo, Cashapp, Zelle over to the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence bank account, and then some other stuff I'm trying to get launched this week. So if you want to make a donation, if you want a reading, whatever, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Hit me up there. Okay. I try to be generous with my time in terms of I communicate to every email. So anybody emails me for any reason, I'm going to email you back. I will say, greetings, Asia. I will say that there's somebody that emailed me, and I told y'all a lot of emails that you send me have been going to my spam. So please be sure to put something in the subject header. Temple question, reading. Put something in the subject header that stands out, because for some reason a lot of your inquiries are going to my spam. So I'm checking my spam daily. There's a sister who, if she hears, I don't know, hopefully she'll hear this, sent me an email that went to my spam, and I cannot find it. I tried to save it into another folder, and it has literally disappeared. I've spent 4 days combing through this email trying to find this sister's email. So you sent me an email. If you're watching, you sent me an email about some dreams that you had been having since you were a child, so on and so forth. If you will email me back, you sent me this email around October 10th. So if you will email me back, I was not ignoring your email. I was going to respond. I was busy in the world. And when I got home to look for the email, it was gone. I can't find it. So, but that being said, I respond to every email that I am sent by you guys. I try to reply within 24 to 48 hours. But please know that I am trying to be a lot more disciplined about the value of my time. I really have an affliction that I am actively trying to get over about doing shit for free, about not valuing my time. It is an affliction that a lot of us Black women have. We want to help, we want to be of service, and in doing that, we cut ourselves off. And I'm really functionally, deliberately being mindful of that. So I'm just going to say I received an email today, and I was tempted. It was a long email. It was long, y'all. It was about 6 paragraphs, y'all. It was long. It was heartfelt, and I responded. But and she was very gracious about my response. My response was, like, I can spend the time, typing out, what I believe is an interpretation for this dissertation that you sent me, but this is what I charge for my time. Like, this is the world that we're trying to create, sisters, people, allies. This is the world we're trying to create. And the world that I am trying to facilitate us creating, and I think all of us are already doing a lot of that work, is to make it so that what we do to support our lives, pay my rent, do these things, is doing the kind of work that is in alignment with what it is, we want to see the world to be, right? And so please, my call is like, just recognize that this is work for me. This is, yes, I take pleasure in it. Yes, I love showing up this way, but this is work for me. And so, when I told her what my time was, her response was gracious. She was like, okay, well, I just really wanted to talk to somebody about this thing and get some feedback about what you might think it is. I said, I understand that and I respect it. But this is the value of my time. And the value of my time is still, placed very low. You understand? I did a reading for this woman who I know very well. She's a friend of mine. I consider a friend. I did a reading for her on Saturday. And I did a half reading. So I only, she was just like, I just got a quick question, whatever. So I charged her $45 for this, very half reading. And then later on that night, she was like, yeah, I got this reading a couple of months ago from this medium, and so much of what you're saying, just confirms what she was saying. And it was crazy because it took me 6 months to get that appointment, and she charged me $350 for an hour. I was like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, you understand? So that's the quandary we in, because when people see the value in what it is they do, what it is you do, they, without a second thought, they will pursue you. Because this girl paid me $45 for a half reading that day, and then a few hours later was like, yeah, I paid $350 for this hour reading with this woman I've been fighting to get an appointment with for like 6 months, this medium. And she told me, you're telling me almost verbatim what she said. I was like, oh gosh, okay. You understand? So please, right now, I charge what I charge to, make sure that people have access to what it is I'm trying to create and trying to build. These readings are not just rote entertainment readings for me. For me, I don't see them that way when I come into these readings with you. So just respect the value of my time, and, let's keep it there for right now. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, All right, y'all ready to get? Y'all hope y'all got y'all pearls to clutch. Y'all got y'all pearls to clutch. Y'all got y'all pearls to clutch. You understand? I hope you got your wig fastened on good. Feel me? All right. So for those of you who have your book, for those of you who are new to the space, today we're going to be reading Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. For those of you who have your book, we are on page 232. Oh, there is one more announcement I want to make before I forget. Do not forget, when I did Sunday service this week, when I did our temple service this past Sunday, and I made the announcement that when you come on the call this coming Sunday, have a Bible, because we do an old school style church service this Sunday. Just absolutely. Asia say, I'm ready for the drag. So anyway, come with your Bible. Somebody's taking the assignment seriously this coming Sunday, because I'm gonna do temple service is gonna be about that book, that scripture, y'all. This week, so somebody texted me this morning to ask what version they needed. Get the free version. Go to one of these hotels and get one of them Gideons out the bedside drawer. Go to the Goodwill or the Salvation Army. You feel me? Usually, if you go up in there, yes, T, dust that old motherfucker off. Don't go out nowhere and buy no brand new Bible, child. Go out here and tell a lie. Tell one of these motherfuckers you got right with the Lord, but you can't afford a Bible. Somebody will give you a book. Be all too eager to give you a book. I have a King James version. I still have to locate it so I can finish studying. But I got something for y'all ass this Sunday. I hope y'all ready. Because we pulling out the shit this Sunday. So do not forget, this Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we going to church. We going to church. And if I had myself a choir, we put on a show. You feel me? Maybe that's something we'll have in the future. Anyway, so that's that. And then tomorrow, I still haven't done it yet. I'll do it tonight. But tomorrow, I'll have, we'll be doing the book club at tomorrow, 7:20. Okay? All right, the touchable cast. So we're on page 232, the second paragraph from the top, on the section yes. The touchable cast. Y'all ready? I have carefully chosen the word cast to name the framed condition of women. In Beyond God and the Father, I describe this phenomenon. Quote, this planetary sexual caste system involves birth-ascribed, hierarchically ordered groups whose members have unequal access to goods, services, and prestige, and to physical and mental well-being. Clearly, I am not using the term caste in its most rigid sense, which would apply only to the Brahmanic Indian society. It may be that the psychological root of selective nitpicking about the use of the term caste to describe women's situation is a desire not to open to the insights made available by this comparison. End quote. One of the most important characteristics of caste systems is that they are extremely difficult, though not impossible, to change. In other words, caste systems are rigid, like plaster casts. Moreover, women are cast into fixed whole. Moreover, women are fixed into caste. God damn it. Moreover, women are cast into fixed roles within the sexual caste system. Escape from these require that we cast ourselves outward, inward, weirward into other dimensions, refusing castration. Ooh. It is instructive to consider. It is instructive to consider the roots of the word caste. It is derived from the Portuguese casta, meaning race, breed, or lineage. This is traced to the Latin castus, meaning pure or chaste. Women are doomed by the patriarchs to be confined to the caste, breed, race of creatures who are chaste by male ordered standards. While on the surface, chaste would appear to mean untouchable rather than touchable. In fact, phallic femininity, the norm imposed upon the caste of women and of all nature, means precisely that members of this caste are touchable by those who are in possession of a penis. If there is an apparent dichotomy between touchable and untouchable, this has to do only with property disputes among men. That is, this opposition is merely about which women can be touched by which men and in which ways. The point is that all women in patriarchy are touchable by males and have no acknowledged right to refuse this role, for this is the role of women and nature within phallocratic caste system. Female chastity within this system is acceptable of one's touchable essence, of one's duty to submit to the touches of men on all levels: physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual. The Latin word castus, moreover, is akin to the Latin querere, meaning to be without, to the Greek kezien, meaning to split, and to the Sanskrit sasati, meaning he cuts to pieces. To the degree that women are confined by phallocentric chastity, touchability, we are doomed to be fulfilled by the grim conditions suggested by these words. Thus, women are split off from our process, from the cosmic harmony of elemental being. And as the Sanskrit society suggests, the logical consequence for the patriarchal male is that he cuts to pieces women and other creatures, severing us from our autonomy and from our roots. The logical conclusion for every member of the touchable caste, then, is dismemberment. Reversal of this fragmentation imposed upon the chaste, touchable caste requires the racing of raging women to original integrity. To understand the possibilities of this racing race, we must understand clearly the conditions of touchability. Among the meanings of the verb touch are, quote, to have sexual intercourse with, to lay violent hands on, to rob by swindling, to cheat, to reach the heart or secret of, to hurt the feelings of, to wound or sting. In all of these ways, women under patriarchy are touchable. Specifically, women, especially poor, third world, and other minority women, are touched by rape, battering, emotional manipulation, gynecology, and other gynocidal professions, the perpetual stream of insults that constitutes acceptable discourse, whether that be under the guise or subject of religion, humor, history, science fiction, or straight pornography. Lauren Hasbury graphically describes the pornographic dimensions of touchable caste status in the everyday experience of Black women. Quote, follow me sometimes and see if I lie. I can be coming from 8 hours on an assembly line or 14 hours in Miss Hazley's kitchen. I can be all filled up that day with 300 years of rage so that my eyes are flashing and my flesh is trembling. And the white boys in the streets, they look at me and think of sex. They look at me and that's all they think. Baby, you could be Jesus in drag, but if you are brown, they're sure you're selling. End quote. Damn. Beth Brandt eloquently depicts the touchable conditions endured and fiercely resisted by Native American women, pointing to the vast dimensions of the touchable caste system. Quote, "We have a spirit of rage. We are angry women, angry at white men and their perversions, their excessive greed and abuse of the earth, sky, and water, their techno-Christian approach to anything that lives, including our children and our people. We are angry at Indian men for their refusals of us, for their limited vision of what constitutes a strong nation. We are angry at a so-called women's movement that always seems to forget we exist. We are not victims. We are organizers. We are freedom fighters. We are feminists. We are healers." End quote. Oh. Damn. Affirming spiritual powers beyond the conditions of touchability, Brandt continues, quote, "We made the fires. We are the fire tenders. We are the ones who do not allow anyone to speak for us but us. Spirit, sisterhood, no longer can the two be separated." End quote. Touchability and asceticism compared. In the foreground of the first realm, I have discussed freely chosen, ostentatious asceticism as a phallic phenomenon in Sado society. Flamboyant asceticism is, for the most part, the prerogative of males. It is important to clearly distinguish this phenomenon from the suffering of the oppressed, of the touched, which is hardly ostentatious, hardly self-chosen. Very significant is the fact that the suffering of ascetics is not only essentially psychic suffering. Barrington Moore writes, quote, "Asceticism is definitely not psychic suffering in the form of degradation or damage to the individual self-esteem, as can happen among the Hindu untouchables. The practitioners of asceticism are the objects of veneration and curiosity, not to say notoriety." Yes, as members of the touchable caste, women suffer indescribably from degradation and damage to the self-esteem. This is the case not only for women who are dishonored within patriarchy, for example, whores and old maids, but in a special way for women who are honored for their conformity, for example, as ideal housewives, as mothers, as nuns, as career women who are male identified and hateful of their female identity. The latter may be feminine in the traditional and or modern sense in order to gain the approval of their male colleagues and bosses, while at the same time playing boys' games and would-be members of boys' clubs. The price of such honors is damage to female self-esteem in the deepest sense. Clearly, members of the touchable caste have also have been and continue to be subjected to extreme physical suffering as a result of caste status. In addition to the rape and battering of women in adulthood, one need only think of the frequent sexual molestation of female children throughout the phallocracy. Atrocities against women on a massive scale are omnipresent in patriarchy. There is also the simple, complex fact that even privileged women who have escaped the more overt forms of destruction do suffer from the disease-inducing tortures inflicted upon all women. The stress, the anxiety, depression manufactured in maledom. Women have not freely chosen the spiritual and physical abuses inflicted on them within phallocracy. However, there is an appearance of choice. For example, some women appear to choose unnecessary mutilating surgery or to stay with husbands who beat them. Only in a very limited sense can these decisions be called choices, for clearly they are not fully free. Yet it is true that most of the time, most women do not openly revolt or apparently are designed to degradation. often thinly disguised as respect without visible or audible protest. Therefore, Furies must face the fact of women's damaged self-esteem, which combines with terror of taboo breaking. Oh my God. The terror of taboo breaking inhibits many from forming and expressing even an idea of revolt, and certainly inhibits the hope of developing a philosophical analysis of prevailing conditions and a political strategy for surmounting them. Listen. Oh. Listen. She said, therefore, Furies must face the fact of damaged self-esteem, which combined with the terror of taboo breaking. Y'all, what did we just talk about yesterday? About my, or maybe it was Sunday, about my I told y'all the whole story about my red taboo and how I held dear to that taboo for many years. About my taboo about not dressing in red. She said, there's a reason we don't break taboos, because we be terrified to break taboos. She said, together, combined with the terror of taboo breaking, there's a reason that women keep all these fucked up taboos about their menstrual blood. Terrified of going against the grain. Inhibits this terror and this damaging of self-esteem inhibits many from forming and expressing even a tiny idea of revolt, and certainly inhibits the hope of developing a philosophical analysis of prevailing conditions and a political strategy for surmounting them. The breaking of self-lust as a universal low caste within all castes, classes, and races of patriarchy. Women, the touchables, suffer almost indescribably from damage to self-esteem. That is, from breaking of self-love, breaking of self-lust. Knowledge of this damage and the psychic suffering that accompanies the state of degradation is subliminal, difficult to face. Even the most successful and self-confident women, in traditional terms, suffer from this largely unacknowledged knowledge. Yet this inchoate knowledge, akin to what Orwell called the mute protest in our own bones, is an experience of non-being that implies being. Thus, it is a signal of hope. Oh man, is today Tuesday? Damn, I knew I was going to forget that. Okay. Oh, I might make it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to be disciplined. There's something I wanted to do today. Okay. Thus, it is a signal of hope, pointing to a vast reservoir of knowledge hidden in the self. One problem, simply stated, is how to make this knowledge accessible. In 1870, Susan B. Anthony ragingly pondered this problem. Quote, so while I do not pray for anybody or any party to commit outrages, still I do pray, and that earnestly and constantly for some terrific shock to startle the women of this nation into a self-respect which will compel them to see the abject degradation of their present position, which will force them to break their yoke of bondage and give them faith in themselves, which will make them proclaim their allegiance to women first, which will enable them to see that man can no more feel, speak, or act for woman than could the old slaveholder for his slave. The fact is, women are in chains, and their servitude is all the more debasing because they do not realize it. Oh, to compel them to see and feel, and to give them the courage and the conscience to speak and act for our own freedom, though they face the scorn and contempt of all the world for doing it. End quote. I just want to say, fuck that bitch, but that was a good quote. Susan B. Anthony, damn her ass, but that was a good quote. For each individual woman, the required terrific shock awakens her not only to information coming from outside, but to the reservoir of previously inaccessible knowledge and passion within. Sonia Johnson, author of From Housewife to Heretic. Whoop, that sounds like a chat. That sounds like a book we need to read, John. That sounds like a book we need to read. Sonia Johnson, from her book From Housewife to Heretic. That sounds like something I need to read. Well, we're going to put that on the book list. Okay. From Housewife to Heretic has written of women's hidden knowledge as a subterranean file entitled What It Means to Be Female in a Male World. Johnson believes that for some women, this file is readily accessible, while for traditional patriarchal women, it is buried deep and defenses against knowing it are inordinately powerful. She writes of the breaking open process, quote, finally, however, no matter how strong that file, and patriarchal women have almost bionic files, there comes along the one piece of data that breaks it wide open. Not everyone responds identically to the bursting of the file. Women who have no faith in themselves, who are totally dependent upon the approval of both patriarchal men and women, as is classically the case in fundamentalist church settings, and whose feelings of self-worth have been almost totally crushed. These women must still deny what their now open file tells them is the truth. Woo! But in order to deny now, in the very face of the truth, they must distort reality so much that they're ill, emotionally ill, physically ill, morally ill, end quote. Yeah, this sounds like a book we gonna have to read. Yeah, especially that one little section where she say, what? Once the file has been burst open, don't mean she gonna be ready. She gonna be ready for it. She said, once the file is burst open, these women who have been so subdued must still deny what their new open file tells them that the truth is. The title of the book is From Housewife to Heretic. From Housewife to Heretic. It is necessary to consider also the situation of women who appear to be at the other end of the spectrum from traditional women, those for whom the file seemingly has been or has become readily accessible. For the fact is that all women under patriarchy are in a position which Anthony has named abject degradation. Moreover, all to some extent have had self-lust crushed and replaced by prosthetic self-respect. Oh. She called it prosthetic self-respect. Oh, damn. She said, moreover, and all to some extent have had self-lust crushed and replaced by prosthetic self-respect. Damn, that's harsh. All, to some extent, still lack faith in ourselves, a condition that is, in some cases, covered by faith in pseudo-selves. There are different degrees of access to the contents of the file. The contents that are readily accessible must be examined, a process which is long, complex, and dangerous. Even the most daring of women still have a vast reservoir file of the unknown, that is, of subterranean knowledge, not only of what it means to be female in a male world, but also of what it can mean to be a passionate, creative female in harmony with the cosmos. Since radical feminists do now have access to much that was previously unknown and unknowable, it is easy to forget the fact that there are vast depths in that labyrinthine file that are still unknown, which we must presentiate, make present to ourselves and to each other. Sonia Johnson continues to write, quote, "The miraculous part of an epiphany is that when the file bursts open and all the file data flood into the conscious mind, they are perfectly organized. They present one with the conclusions. I knew instantly what the women's movement was all about. I knew it in my very bones," end quote. This statement is accurate, although in apparent contradiction with what I have just written. For it is true that women who have experienced the epiphany have found that the previously subterranean data are perfectly organized and have almost immediately known what the women's movement is, quote, all about. This knowledge is intuitive and organic. However, the all that is the known is a potential all. Much of it is in potentia. Presentient women who have experienced the feminist epiphany must know our own emotional knowing to be a verb. It could be compared to the seedling of a tree that will grow forever if we choose this knowing growing. Oh my fucking God, y'all. I got a story to tell. Damn. I got a story to tell. Oh, I got a story to tell. I got a story to tell. And I'm going to have to tell it. Let me tell y'all, I got a story to tell. Listen, I did a reading today. And in that reading today, I pulled a card. Let me see if I can find this card real quick. Because the card that I pulled in this reading that I just did an hour before I got on the card with y'all, it's like, let me just tell you about synchronicities and how they are just so much more prevalent now. In this read today that I did for someone, their card was the seed card. And the seed card, I'm going to show y'all this card. See how this woman is just carefree throwing the seeds about? Because she know if all the elements are right, see, the sun is bright, the water is near. She's like, look, if all the elements right, it don't matter where I throw these seeds, they gonna grow. All the raw potential from all the information is housed in that one little seed. And all I got to do is be carefree. Throw the seed to and fro, and the elements are right, the seed gonna grow. And the tree that springs from that seed is going to represent a multiplicity of potentialities. That's what that card represents, right? Here she say, right here. She just reaffirmed what this card said just an hour ago. This knowledge is intuitive and organic. However, the all that is known is a potential all. Much of it is in potentia. Presentient women who have experienced the feminist epiphany know our own emotional knowing to be a verb. It could be compared to the seedling, the seed. This just happened. I just pulled this card an hour before I got on the call with y'all. This could be compared to a seedling of a tree that will grow forever if we choose this knowing and growing. To choose it is to choose participation in the tree of life presented by the seed, whose roots and branches can always expand and will do so if not impeded. This just happened. Let me tell you about a word that just happened. Okay, y'all. The biophilic will to know emotionally is a will to impassioned expression of original integrity. That shit is deep to me. This card that I just pulled an hour before this reading, and this is what we read right now about our deeply hidden suppressed files bursting open with all potentialities based on whatever act we take. Women's complicity in the necrophilic anti-process of stunting female participation in the tree of life arises in part from and perpetuates low self-esteem, breaking self-lust. I do not refer to self-esteem in the usual sense, but rather esteem or value of the deep original self in women, the living spirit matter, the psyche who participates in being, but blockage of this, the blockage of this elan vital, of this expansion of final causality constitutes women's entrapment in the touchable caste. Rather than expanding roots and branches as participants in the tree of life, a woman caught in this complicity remains nailed to crossbeams of dead wood, suffering, immobile, and double-crossed. In order to analyze this damage to self-esteem and the terror that is inseparable from it, I shall draw some analogies between the condition of women as touchables with that of the Hindu untouchables, not forgetting, of course, that roughly 50% of the latter are women. Okay. I am going to end there because, and I'll tell you why I'm ending 10 minutes early. Because I am going to take a saxophone class tonight. I haven't played a horn in a very, very long time. I started playing the saxophone when I was about 8. And I was about 8. And I played for a very long time, up until my second year in college. I was on music scholarships for the saxophone, the whole 9 yards. And I let people get in my head. We all do it at some time or another. I was a kid and I was made convinced that I could never make a decent living playing the saxophone. And so when I got pregnant in college, I was on a full scholarship, a full saxophone scholarship, music scholarship. When I got pregnant in college, there were no voices of support. Oh, you can do this, girl. You can go to college and be pregnant. You can. So I was like, okay, I got to quit school. So I gave up a full scholarship. I went for about 2 semesters, gave up a full scholarship to come out in the world and be a working class single mom taking care of a baby, right? And I put my saxophone away for a very, very, very long time. And it's like having a talent like that out and not nurturing it is like having a child out in the world you ain't taking care of. So last year, my mama, all unexpected, bought me a saxophone for my 47th birthday. And I'll be honest, that horn I played it a couple of times, literally a couple of times, but there was like this hesitation and this intimidation, like this self-judgment, really. It's harder because I'm older and I got to relearn everything. And so I've sat there with my saxophone sitting right in the living room, ignoring my poor saxophone for quite some time. Then I met this dude who does saxophone drills for all levels, like beginner all the way up to advanced. And so I made up my mind last week when I found out about it that I was going to pull my saxophone out and put it in the car and stop making excuses why I'm not playing this instrument, that my mama gifted me with hopes of me getting my skills back up. And she was like, you ain't got no excuses no more, boo. Because, we'll put off everything that's important to us for excuses. Well, I'll get around to it when I got my bills paid or whatever. My mama bought me a saxophone last year. So I'm about to pull that horn out and I'm about to go up this mountain real quick and take this saxophone workshop with this dude. And so I'm probably going to start playing live for y'all. I ain't lying. I'm going to probably start playing just so I can force myself to get my skills back up. But anyway, so that's what I'm getting ready to do. So I thank you guys for tuning in for the reading of Pure Lust. We will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And what we're going to do instead of doing the read tomorrow, that's what I'm going to do. Instead of doing the read tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll just make it a 2-hour session, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So be looking out for the Zoom link. Email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, and put book club in the header. Put book club in the header. I'll send you the 411 on the book club because it'll be a Zoom that we do. It won't be this. It'll be a Zoom that we do for the book club. That'll be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every Wednesday until we finish this book, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll do a book club discussion about Pure Lust. Okay? So email me ASAP so I can send you the Zoom information. I don't want the last time we tried to do a Zoom workshop or book club or whatever, we had provocateurs bum rush the page, like agents and shit. So I want to do a private Zoom. So if you're interested, doesn't matter how many people, if you're interested in participating in the book club tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, make sure to email me. And also you can go to our Great Cosmic Mother book club page. You can still participate. Yes, T. You can still participate if you don't have the book. Absolutely, yes. Yes. But those details will be up in the Great Cosmic Mother book club on my Facebook page. Email me and I'll send you the information direct. That way we can do this book club tomorrow. Now I'm going to go ahead and go because I got to drive about 45 minutes away for this saxophone workshop. But I'll let y'all know how it goes tomorrow. All right. See you guys later. Have a good night. Peace.